Hello everybody and welcome. I hope you're well. Well, I am very well. Thank you very much for all those messages because you guys know that it's at the moment an eruption in the volcano in La Palma, which is another island of the Canarian Islands, and I am in one of them, but I am in Tenerife and not in La Palma. Saying this, we are sending a lot of love, light, and strength for all of those that are going through this situation right now with the volcano. And this, it's kind of calling me to make another video and talk about why. Why? Is it really why or what for? Is this all these volcanoes at this moment? We have another one in Iceland, we have another one in Sicily at the moment in eruption. And it's so many things that are happening at this moment, and all of them are calling us to wake up and see the true meaning of life. So I'm probably gonna make another video about this because we always should ask ourselves of every situation. It could be this volcano that you may be losing your house, you may be losing everything right now, or you are just a witness watching this. If you're a witness or if you're in this situation, it could be the volcano, it could be any other thing. We normally have to ask ourselves, what for? What for is this situation here in my life? What is it teaching me? And at this point, with everything that we have gone through in the last years, I think humanity needs to wake up, see the true meaning of life, what is important in your life and what isn't important. And sometimes material things are not important if we are alive. It's easy to say, you may say, well, actually, I have lost everything already. So I know exactly ways to lose all the material stuff. So I know what I'm talking about. And that's when I actually start asking more and more questions about myself and knowing myself even more. So this is why I am saying that sometimes material stuff is not really important. Sometimes no, I'm gonna say it like this. Never material stuff are important. When we start knowing ourselves, looking deep inside in us, these things are not important. So these situations are here to teach us something. What for? And the what for is something you will have to look inside you. So saying this, let's start with the subject of today. And I choose the name because this is what happened. My children have died of hunger. And this is the situation one of my consultants had. And she came a couple weeks ago to me and we did a session. I analyzed her family tree. And when we analyzed her family tree, we found a grandmother that her children were the ones that died of hunger. This grandmother was her father's mother, and two of her children had died of hunger. It was a lot of poverty in those times. She had no money whatsoever, no money for food, and this grandmother had lost two children because she couldn't feed them. She also chose the same name of one of those children to name her father, so this consultant's father. That's not a good idea normally, because you are pouring all that energy of that child. I know we do it in honor of that child's life, but that child's life was a tragic death where there was no food for him, and that's why he died. So it's not a good thing to name the person normally. It's always ideal to change names and to put new names in the family, because otherwise that baby is gonna carry all that with them. Now, saying this, this consultant came to me because she was struggling with her weight. And I have a whole video for that. I'm gonna leave you here. And when I talk about overweight and just extra kilos or obesity, we have many meanings, emotional meanings of why we do this. You know, if we eat emotionally, we always say that. But hunger in the family tree is one of them. And this is exactly her case. So she came to me for a couple of reasons, but one of them is because all her life she had struggled with her weight. Her weight will fluctuate from time to time. And then she got pregnant, and when she got pregnant, she lost her baby weight, no problem, but then she gained weight. And after she gained that weight, she couldn't lose it. And that was one of the reasons. So when we went to her family tree, we found that story about this grandmother, which was related to her because she even had her same name as this grandmother. And this grandmother, like I said, lost 2 of her children for hunger. Now, what happens is and I explained this many times, just like we inherited the color of my eyes, the color of my hair, the color of my skin because of my family, we also inherited those families' stories. And we sometimes don't even know them because this lady didn't even know this grandmother. She never met her, but she knew unconsciously that story. So when she gets pregnant, the baby borns, it's a click on her, and that switch does that she says unconsciously, you need to eat to bring yourself in a reserve state. So you have reserve in your body. So that baby you have now won't die of hunger, just like the one for your grandma did. We do this unconsciously, so we start stocking up just in case we go hunger. And this is proven also that we can go through many days with liquids only. We don't need to eat. I have done all those extensive fastings already. And you can go many days. You can go up to 40 days without food. So our body is okay with that as long as you have fluids. But unfortunately, this lady, what she was doing is just keeping a reserve just in case. So in case that baby will be hungry, she will have a reserve. Now, I'm going to tell you a personal story. A couple months ago, my mother was diagnosed with COVID. And although I was never afraid, and I'm still not afraid of contracting COVID, because I believe my body has everything to fight it, so I'm not afraid of contracting COVID. In that moment when my mother got diagnosed, just in that period, just before she got diagnosed, my mom said to me, Claudia, just go to the supermarket, fill up the fridge, cook some stuff, freeze it, just in case I had given to you and my son. So you have for a couple of weeks. So I remember in that time I went to the supermarket, I was like a robot. I was not afraid of contracting COVID. I was okay if I even had it at that point. But I went like a robot. I went to the supermarket, came home, I cook, I freeze. I remember I put a wash, I start ironing. I did so many things just in case. I prepared myself for war. That's how I see it. I was in a survival mode. I was doing everything right that I needed to do to be sure that if I contracted, if at one point I had no strength to cook, I will have food. Now, it's just so funny, and this is why I'm telling you this story, because one of the things that I always say about my son, you know, those things that you always say, is that child, which he's not a child, he's 15, but that child will never go hungry, because it doesn't matter what I have, he will always make himself something. If I normally cook for him, But if I'm not around that day, or if I'm working or something, he will make himself something. And I always say it very proudly, oh, he will never go hungry. But guess what? That day, after I was in this survival mode, my body was aching. I started having a very bad headache, which I normally don't have. And those were my mom's symptoms, the first symptoms. And I thought, oh crap, I have it. And I remember that in that time, my only thought was, oh my God, what happens if I can't feed my boy? Crazy, right? I mean, I have that problem. Mama saying always, my boy never will go hungry because he knows how to make himself something. And there I was thinking, gosh, what happens if I can feed him? Well, then is when those ancestral memories kicked on me. And those ancestral memories kick on me because I know there has been a lot of poverty in my family. A lot of my family members, they had children, they struggled at one point to feed them. Of course, not to the point to die of hunger. But yes, those memories are still on me. Memories of people that I already know in my family. Not stories they even told me. And mostly those stories, they already probably were there. So what happened on that time, that particular moment with me, is unconsciously and now consciously knowing those ancestral memories were kicking on me. And it didn't matter what I knew for sure, my boy will never go hungry. That didn't matter because all those ancestral memories, and I was now in survival mode, were kicking. The good thing is that that night I took some paracetamol, woke up perfectly fine next morning, and I started working on my mind and my thoughts and all of the tools that I know for sure work. And I didn't contract COVID. My boy never died of hunger. He never even had a hungry moment. So everything was fine. And this is exactly what I did with this lady. Last Saturday, we went straight with tools that I have. We went straight and we relive that time where that grandmother had lost those children because of hungry. We went to there and it was a beautiful, beautiful experience for me because she relived that story and we changed the story. Because while she was in that state of regression and hypnosis, we could change what the subconscious was thinking. So we changed her grandma's story. And I'm happy to share this with you today because I spoke with her yesterday and she told me how much in peace she feels today. How good this had been for her and how good she feels now with food. That she understands now she doesn't have to make a reserve to survive her or for her children to survive. So for all of you with overweight problems and stories like that in your family tree, I truly recommend you to do a session so we can work with you. We can go work on your family tree. Doesn't matter if you have much information about your family tree. We can always work with you. Look at this lady. We went straight to that moment and it was just beautiful. So I hope this video has helped you to understand how those emotions can trigger us today to eat, to survive. Take care and until next video. Bye-bye.